Good morning, FlossTube. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shelly, and this is Proverbs 31:22 is my channel. That's also my username on Instagram. This is a channel about mostly cross stitch with some quilting thrown in. So welcome. I hope y'all are having a good day. Today is Monday, August the 24th, 2020. Today is my hubby's birthday. We did have a little get together for him over here yesterday, and had some good family time. The boys had come. My grandsons had came and spent the night on Saturday, and then they stayed all day Sunday, and then we had the party in the evening. I'm going to do a life update at the end of this video. If I do it at the beginning of it, I don't think I'll be able to do the video. So it's been a rough month. But I did want to say that my last video, I had recorded it before we went home to Louisiana to visit family. But I didn't upload it until we got back just because my videos take forever to upload, and I worked the day before we left, 12-hour shifts, so, and then I didn't bring my laptop with me when we went, so I just uploaded it when we got back home. So anyway, let's just get straight into the stitching. So I did have one FO, not an FFO yet. The September from Year of Celebrations by Hands On Design. And this is my my version. And this is stitched on 28 count tea-dyed Monaco with probably some of the call for DMCs. The little owl is my own version using a sulky thread. And I have some ribbon with a little some ribbon that I showed I think on my last video with some pencils on it that I will use to finish it. I don't know what color I finished all of these with little pom-pom trim around them. I don't know what color I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with red. And then I also want to get a little red little apple button to finish in the middle of the bow. So this is September, of course, and then I have October to do, and then I will be done with the whole year. And I love those every month, so I don't know what I'm going to replace it with, but I got plenty to stitch, believe me. So that was my FO. And then I'm going to show you the things that basically this is what I stitched on our trips to Louisiana, because we did have multiple trips. So I'll talk about that at the end. So I'm stitching on Lizzie Kate's Let Them Be Small. I had planned to gift this to my daughter, my older daughter, on her birthday next month, just in a few weeks. I don't think I'm going to make it, but I can give it to her for Christmas if I don't get it done before her birthday. This is my progress. This is stitched on 32 count natural linen from Witch Helps. 2 threads over 2. 2 strands over 2 threads. And I love this little stitch. I'm using my own colors, fancy floss, but my own interpretation. Using the same general colors that they have, but I just didn't have the weeks that they called for in the pattern. So I love this stitch so much. I think it's so cute. And I'm also continuing to work on The Bluebird Needleworks, Live Simply Mystery Sal. This is part 5. And I just started on part 5 a few days ago. You can find this on Etsy in her shop. And the way it works is you pay for the pattern a low cost. When I started it was $7.50. I think maybe it's a little more now because we've got more releases. But then when you finish your piece, you either send her the picture or tag her on Instagram, and then she sends you the next month. So this is my progress. I worked on this one right here when we were on the road and got it finished when we got home, and then started on this one. So this is on 32 count wood-shot linen in Sunshower color. It doesn't film well, it doesn't photograph well. It's more of a lemon yellow. When she did this block right here, when she released it, she shows it on her Instagram when it's being released. She said something about a goldfinch, and I was like, that's not a goldfinch. So I had to go look it up, and it is a European goldfinch. And so I commented, saying I had to go look up this bird because, I'm used to the American goldfinch. So when she did this month's release, she did an American goldfinch in it. And so I commented and said, so sweet to see that. And she's like, you're the one you're the reason I know about American goldfinches. So I thought that was cute. That was fun. I love birds, so increasing my knowledge about them is always fun. So I love this vase of roses. And this color right here, this is Classic Colorworks right here too. Pickled beets, it's also up here on the tulips. And I think if I could only stitch with one color for the rest of my life, that's the one I would choose. I absolutely love it. So, obviously you can see from this picture, she's got a really light border. I'm using some of her call for colors, like on the birds and the letters, but in the pots, but the flowers I'm making my own, and the border I'm making my own. Mainly because I chose this yellow fabric and the white just didn't show up on it at all. So I also stitched on this when we were on the road. This is Mistletoe Lane. This was a stitch along from Fat Quarter Shop for Jolly July. And I'm way behind, but it's okay. That house is killing me. So I got release 1 and release 2 done, and then, this is where I am on the house. And then I just started on the little Christmas tree. I don't know if y'all are this way, but just get bored stitching in the same color. I love the house, though. I love pink houses, so. And this is on a 32 count white chocolate linen from Witchout. Well, I don't know if it's from Witchout or not. I bought it from Fat Quarter Shop. Sorry, I don't know what company made it. Their linen club is Witchout, but this one, I think it's Witchout, but I'm not positive. Anyway, with the call for DMC flosses. So I don't know if I'll finish that before Christmas or not. And then I also stitched a lot in the car on this, my Quaker de Noël from Jardin Privé. And I got a good bit done. I did change up one thing. I'd already changed up doing the words in green. And then I decided I wanted the main Christmas tree to be a darker green. So I had my flosses that I was using from for Newcastle Bouquet, and then had Forest Glade from the Gentle Art in it. And so I'll just pulled that out and did the Christmas tree in it. And the way I stitched this, because I honestly can make myself crazy trying to think of the best way to stitch something to get the most efficient, trying to decide the most efficient way to stitch something as far as thread usage. So I ended up just stitching in vertical columns. And I love it. I was very glad to have that tree done though, because it took a long time, but the rest of the little motifs, oops, sorry, except for that border at the bottom, you know, they should be, oh, and that flower, never mind. I was going to say the rest of them should be fast. Nah, I like to stitch big stuff, y'all. Okay, you know, this is another example. This is a small piece, but there's 12 in a series, and I'm stitching them all on one piece. So that means I won't have a finish until I'm done with all 12. So anyway, this is the Prim Stitch series. It's a club that Fat Quarter Shop is doing with Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. This is based on a quilt, and I saw on Lori Holt's YouTube channel that she just released the instruction video for doing this as a quilt block. And it's applique. I hate applique, so I won't be doing the quilt to match. But this is my progress on that. I tried so hard to get this done yesterday, but it just did not happen. So I'm stitching this on 32 count Jobelin and lamb's wool. My first time stitching on Jobelin. I like it okay. It's very uniform. Very much like Ada as far as that goes. Except you stitch over 2 strands, of course. I mean, unless you want to do 1/1. But I am doing this with 1 strand of floss over 2 threads on the fabric. And while I usually prefer a more full coverage look, I really like the way this looks. I like the delicacy. And I love that border, but geez, it's a beast to stitch. So I've got to finish the little bee, finish the border, and then finish that 1 flower, and then I'll be done with that one. But I've already got the next one to go, so ready to go. And I also brought this to stitch on when we were in Louisiana, not on the road, but, you know, in the hotel or at my mother-in-law's. I didn't get as much as I wanted to done on it, but that is Newcastle Bouquet. Oh, sorry. I just jostled y'all. From Teresa Kogut. And this was my first project doing on 36 count, 1/2. And I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. This is on a hand-dyed fabric from Devon at Strawberry Lane on Etsy. Using most of the call for colors. There were a few that I wasn't able to get, so I had to substitute. And I've talked about, you know, the greens are real close to one another. Closer than I would like, but I still like it. And I'm not changing it, so. And I worked very little on this Linen and Threads Mystery Sal for 2020. So this is the progress through June. So obviously I'm behind because I haven't even finished June. And I'm not sure, I just had I had trouble. I thought, you know, it was 14 count Ada. It would be easy to stitch in the car, but this motif is just, it's a lot of like concentrating and, you know, it's not an easy thing to stitch, this little wreath. So, I'll talk about it at the end of the video, but I am going to frog this out and do something else on this wreath. I'll talk about that when I do my life update. But this is my progress. So this is a 14 count oatmeal Ada with DMC, I think it's called Variations, and the number is 4211. So those are the things that I stitched on since my last video. I have just a little bit of haul, and that is the second of the Prim Stitch series. It's so cute. And then I also, I've been having this chart when Teresa Koga did her market release video. Oh, I fell in love with this. But she did talk about how this ended up being stitched on an unintended color. They intended it to be stitched on, I don't remember. Oh, she meant to have it stitched on Picture This Plus Gothic. And they stitched it on Picture This Plus Mystic Linen. I mean, it's beautiful on the blue, but the Gothic is more purple. So I finally made the plunge and took the plunge and ordered some fabric from Brandy at Be Stitch Me. This is a 36 count linen. The name of it is Evil Queen, which I think is a little, I don't know, a little ironic that I'm stitching an angel on a cloth called Evil Queen. But, oh my goodness, isn't it gorgeous? Ugh. Reminds me of like grape Kool-Aid, like, before you mix it all together, you know, you have those darker spots and then you mix it up and it gets a little lighter. Love it. Don't have any plans on starting that anytime soon because Lord knows I have enough going on already. So my quilting whip is on the wall behind me. This is going to be for my younger daughter's 30th birthday, which is in October. It won't be finished. I've got the big blocks that make up the middle put together. I've got 2 of the rows you can see down at the bottom put together, and then 2 still to sew together. I still have inner gray border, middle star border, and then outer gray border. So quite a bit of piecing yet to go. And I think I'm going to get a long armor to baste it for me. It just sort of depends on like how quick she can get it done and get it back to me. Because, you know, if it's going to be a couple of weeks, that's a couple of weeks that I could be hand quilting it. These are 3 of the colors I'm going to hand quilt it in. I did order over the weekend some more colors like these blues right here in quilting thread. And I am going to do it in a, let me show you. If I can find it real quick. So when I'm trying to decide how I'm going to quilt something, I'll usually make a black and white copy and just sort of do little dash lines with a pen on it. So I like to do Baptist fans, but I'm going to do them more upright, not leaning. Like these are leaning. These are going to be, I'm going to do them where they're standing straight up. So more like rainbows. So hopefully that will, I think it'll go faster than trying to outline stitch or anything, but there is the issue of having to go over a lot of seams. So we'll see. So plans. I need to, what did I do with it? I need to kit up the October. Jeez, come on. Why is that so hard? The October year of celebrations. And then once I have that one stitched, I'm done. I've got the whole year done. So that's going to be coming up. I am going to FFO this one. I am still planning to start the hedgerow house. I kind of wanted to get this. I mean, I bought the kit, so I already have the fabric, I already have the flosses, I already carded. But, you know, turn my patterns into PDF so I can keep them on my tablet to mark. And this is a big, like, huge pattern. So I would have had to figure out, it's going to take me a minute to get that scanned and chopped up or whatever I'm going to do with it, I don't know, to convert it to a PDF, and I just didn't have time before we left to go on our trip. And then life happened, so I'm not sure when I'll get to making it into a PDF pattern to start stitching it, but there's a group for that on Facebook that Niecy Lynn put together. It's actually not just for that. It's Niecy Lynn and Needlework, so you can share whatever, but the reason why she started it was because of the stitch along. And one gal has like the whole middle done already. Like she's got that whole inner part with the house and all of this done. Like gorgeous. So hopefully I'll get that started soon. Then there's Carolyn Zook and Robin Hall. I think her name is Robin Hall. They have started a challenge called the Monthly Magazine Challenge. I really don't have a lot like I used to have when I stitched before. I had a lot of cross-stitch magazines that I got rid of when I stopped cross-stitching. But, so I don't really, honestly, I maybe have one somewhere. I don't even know if I have one. I mean, I had a digital subscription to just cross-stitch. But I just found out about a service called Readly. I had heard about it before and looked it up, and I was a little less than impressed. Maybe I was distracted and didn't really research it enough, or maybe they've just added a lot of stuff since then. But Jan Hicks, on her most recent video, talked about it again. And so I went to do the trial. It is $12 a month, but you get access to, I'm like floored how many magazines. My husband and I just sort of spent some time on Friday evening just scrolling through and looking at everything that they have available. And it's crazy. I mean, they have, you know, of course I'm looking at the cross stitch and the quilting things, but I mean, anything, basically just about anything you can think of, topic-wise. So anyway, check that out. But I did make some plans. Oh, it's just right here for that. And the way they do it is they have the theme. It starts September. the theme of autumn, fall for September, and then they do an acrostic with leaves. They do an acrostic every month. In September, it's leaves. At first, I was like, I'm just going to do the theme. And I found this Fall into Autumn. It's like a band sampler, and it actually has, this was the third part in it. Not the third part, but the third, like each season has one. Find your words. And then I did find a few other little things, and so I, did come up with some things for the acrostic, but I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I'm a little overwhelmed at the moment. I showed you on my last video, I believe, my calendar, and you can see the highlighted yellow parts, so the parts that I've done, and so I'm like, I'm behind on my goals that I had from before, and so I don't know if I want to add anything else. I mean, and that's fine. I'll, it's not life or death or anything. It's not, I'm not going to let it get me down, but I just don't want to add anything else, I think. But I really want to stitch those things, so I don't know. So anyway, those are my plans, tentative plans. Keep working on my whips. Try to get back, try to make as much progress as I can on, the things that I had planned on my calendar. So, life update. I shared in my last video, we were going to Louisiana. So we did that. We went down on the 31st and came home on the 4th. And we weren't home a half an hour when I got the call that my dad had passed away. So my husband had to go to work the next day, but the day after that we were in the car going back down to help with arrangements, and because it was like nearing the weekend, and it ended up being Wednesday before we could have a memorial. So it's been a really rough month, and it took me, quite a while when we got back before I even felt like picking up a needle. I've gotten kind of past that, but I'm so tired. Like when we got back, I had been on PTO, and then, got the call Tuesday, was supposed to go back to work Wednesday, called out, and then, went back to Louisiana for another, week almost. So when I got back, the girl that works opposite me, she had been covering for me basically every day except for one day, one Friday, and then the weekend when I was on PTO, I had already gotten someone lined up to cover for me. So she was exhausted. So manager's like, can you work your shift when you get back and then her shift? So I had like 5 days in a row of being on. And, just holding all of that in. So I'm tired. And I thought this past Tuesday, a week ago yesterday, my first day off, I'm gonna, stay in bed all day and cry. Not a single tear all day. And grief is so weird. So, I'm trying to, give myself some grace. Even when I do have the needle and thread in my hand, it's like, I have trouble concentrating. So I'm not making a whole lot of progress, and I stitched slow already, so. So yeah, 2020 sucks. COVID sucks. We had planned when we were in Louisiana on our little vacation, a little trip, called my dad on Saturday and said, we're in town, we're going to come see you. We had masks, whatever we needed to do to keep him safe. It made me so, nervous going to see him, but I wanted to see him, And then, he called back and said, he didn't feel comfortable, which was fine, totally fine. He's like, y'all can come and we can do a garage, driveway visit. So we pull up to his house on the Sunday, and it starts raining as soon as we got there. And so, I'm a little angry. I'm sorry. I'm a lot angry, actually, that was the last time that I saw my dad, and it happened the way that it happened. And that, I don't know, I didn't even think when I was there, get the umbrella, stand outside, get your grandsons to stand up and let them see how tall they are and how grown and how handsome. And of course, if I had known that he would be gone 2 days later, I would have said to hell with it. I'm, hugging my dad. I mean, you always think, as your parents get older and you live away from home, you think every time, okay, this could be the last time. And then it is, and you're like, what? Just not prepared at all. I mean, it was not expected whatsoever. And then you're trying to have services in the middle of a pandemic. And then she was his ex-wife, but they were still best friends, and she did, a lot for him. They were still very close. And then she was sick in the hospital and couldn't even come to the service at all. And she's still ill. So please remember her in prayer. Her name is Roberta. I made the little year celebrations in May for her birthday, because she had commented on mine and asked me to make her one. So just to sort of connect the dots on who I'm talking about. But, so, yeah. Trying to just do one day at a time, I guess, and having to work and, like I said, hold it all in on the days when you're at work. So it's been tough. This month has been tough. And I find, solace in my needle and thread. So the first week when I didn't even, couldn't even think about picking up a needle and thread because I was exhausted, and it's just sort of hard. It is hard. So that's what's been going on in my life. And of course there's, trying to handle estate stuff and all of that from a distance. We were able to go and meet with the lawyer and sort of start the process of a succession. He had a lot of papers that we had to go through when we were there, and I'm sure at some point later this year I'll have to go back down and sort of help get, things taken care of in his house. I do have one brother that still lives in Louisiana, so a lot of this is falling on him. So pray for our family. Pray for all the families that are having to go through this in the middle of this madness known as COVID. It just makes everything that much harder to deal with. I mean, and I don't, my mom died, and I had serious regrets and anger at myself for not, things that I wish that I had done that last day that she asked me to, and I made excuses of why I couldn't. So I know I would have regrets regardless. But, and I know people mean well, but yeah, I got to see him, but I didn't want the last time I saw him to be the way it was, so don't tell me. At least you got to see him, because it doesn't matter. It still sucks that was the last time, and it was the way it was from the distance in the car in the rain. One thing that losing, someone close to you like a parent makes you realize is, people just need you to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry you're hurting. They don't need you to say things that make it, I don't know, like, that make the person feel guilty because they're hurting, or guilty because they wanted it to be a way that it wasn't. Just say you're sorry. Say that you're thinking of them, praying for them, but don't try to minimize what they're feeling. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. Made it through this video, and I guess I'm gonna upload it. Keeping it real, right? Y'all have a good day, a good week, and I don't know when I'll see you. Maybe it's probably gonna be a couple weeks, because I'm slow. I'm slow at getting progress made, so I did want to say though on this, I'm probably gonna, because I said that I was gonna talk about this, so Stitch to 2020, I probably will go take that out, and I'll probably maybe do some back stitch lettering instead of the cross stitch lettering, and put his initials, and then he was born in 1933 and died in 1920. I mean, in 2020. So, I haven't known what I was going to do as far as initial-wise on this, but that's one thing that I know that I'll more than likely do. So, okay, I love you guys. Take care. Bye.